Welcome to another episode of Coy's Comic Cinema and Curls. I am very excited to be talking to you today because we're going to be talking all sorts of glorious comic book stuff. Now, pardon the lighting, I usually don't film at this time of day, so it's a bit brighter than I'm used to, but there is just so much to say, so I want to get right into it. Now, we're going to start off with the review for Birds of Prey, and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Now, I'm going to let a couple people get into the chat, let a couple people get in here, and then we get at it. So, in the meantime, as you guys know, we are gearing up to get this link live and the live chat going. So, as always, do bear with me. We got a couple cords coming in from Joey to scheme like a different setup. So within probably the week, we're going to have a different camera setup. And within probably a couple days after that, a microphone setup. My mom is awesome, got me a microphone. So this whole thing is going to have a different flavor very, very soon. But as always, do bear with me. And I appreciate you guys understanding the absolute chaos of setting all this up, and I'm very excited to stop having to apologize for all the chaos. I literally just plugged in my phone because I am that unready as ever. Jeez. Okay, I'm gonna get in the live chat, say hi to you guys. I think I got the super chat working, and as always, I do have some really... Oop. Ignore that. That never happened. I do have the Streamlabs working, so I'm going to try to do as many questions in the live chat as I can, but overall, I'm going to be looking to see if Super Chat works and seeing if Streamlabs works. And as always, thank you guys so much for jumping in here. We are so close to 6,000 subscribers. I think personally we can get to 6,000 by the end of this stream, and if not then, by the end of the day. And I think we can get to 10K by the end of the month. I feel good about February. Let's go for 10K by the end of the month. And I can tell you guys, I'm going to be going to Hawaii at the end of this month, so I'll be doing some live coverage from Hawaii for you guys. I'm going to be covering Amazing Con out there, so expect lots of stuff from me out there. I'm going to sit down with some creators. I'm going to see what I can do about getting footage from the con onto this channel, because I want to make sure it's on the up and up. But yeah, going with my buddy Donnie Cates, who's an incredible writer. Of all things, I don't even need to list his bibliography, but the man is a reinvented Thanos, reinvented Venom, invented Cosmic Ghost Rider, incredible creator. So I'm excited to see Donnie, and the slate at Amazing Con is absolutely incredible. So do check it out, and I'm gonna see what is going on in the live chat. Okay, live chat, and then in like 2 minutes we're gonna go right into the review, and I'm gonna try to... I've not clipped out anything from this show before. I've always just kind of like thrown it on as a live. I'm gonna clip out the review of just Birds of Prey and try that out on my channel. I'm also gonna try shorter form content starting now that it's a new month, now that it's February. I'm gonna see how the shorter form content feels with you guys. So first, I'm gonna look into the live chat. Could GSP's character Winter Soldier be Taskmaster? Ooh, that is a cool theory, G Chia. I love Batroc the Leaper, and I love Georges St. Pierre. I don't know if Batroc would tie in to the tone of Black Widow, but I guess that is possible. Batroc definitely seemed to fight in a very inventive style. I guess they could play with that concept and make it so it's that photorealistic mimicry. That's a cool idea, man. I don't know, but I definitely want more GSP, so that's a cool idea. Looking forward to taking the wife and you to Birds of Prey for your birthday. That is a great birthday, Tim Berry. Everyone's saying hello. You're all fantastic. Hey man, just wanted to say you're great in Collider and really enjoy your takes on comics and pop culture on Twitter. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, Steven. Yeah, if you guys for whatever reason don't follow me on Twitter and or Instagram, please do. I share a lot of comic book stuff on both. I share a lot of comic book pull lists on both. Check them out. Ayun Syed, why is Koi not on Collider anymore? I am whenever Collider exists. I do comic book shopping still. They don't have as much of their weekly stuff, so I haven't been over there because they're not really doing that kind of content. So I'm there, kinda. I don't know how to answer that. If they do comic book shopping, I am the host. And then if they do anything else, they can call me. But yeah, I'm not really like in the office, so to speak, anymore. I didn't know me and Roxy went on at the same time. Hi, Roxy. I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't affect Roxy's stream because she is lovely, but hi, Roxy. Can't wait to see Donnie at C2E2. Donnie is fantastic, man. And a bunch of you guys reached out about me going to Chicago. I was invited by a number of people, but it is so short notice that I definitely don't think I can swing a flight in a hotel that short notice. But I love all the love, and I appreciate all you Chicagoans with the love. Joe O'Keefe, Dublin is amazing. I am a big fan of that world. We're going to be talking about the Marvel spots later in the episode. We're going to be talking about all that. Actually, you know what? While we're gathering the live chat, let's talk about this episode. We're going to start off with Birds of Prey. We're going to get into WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and, of course, that little tiny Loki nod. We're going to talk about the Fast 9 trailer. We're going to talk about release dates on those Marvel shows. We're going to talk about comics that I'm reviewing from earlier in the month. I'm about 3 weeks behind on comics, so we're going to talk about January 8th's comic list, and then, at the end of the episode, my pulls for this week, today's actual comic books we will cover today. So we're gonna go from there. What up, Miami? All right, so if my super chat works, someone let me know, and if it still isn't working, please do let me know. I've never had a YouTube, so I got officially monetized, which means I think super chats can work. So I'm gonna go away from the live chat for questions, lean into more of those so I can actually focus on the show, and we're gonna kick it off with Birds of Prey non-spoiler review. Not a single spoiler in the next few minutes. I will do a spoiler review in a week. I will probably give it until next Wednesday, do a full spoiler review, but first, no spoilers, I promise you. Birds of Prey is a live-action cartoon come to life, which is so fitting for Harleen Quinzel. That character was born in the cartoon, and she lives on in a cartoon live-action flavor, and man, oh man, this movie is like, it's like reading a really cool arc of 12 issues, and there's a couple issues that are different creators, and I liked that. Like, that could easily have gone awry. That could easily be a bad thing. That could easily have not been what you'd want out of a movie. But in this case, it really lands. There are moments of drama. There are moments of procedural. There are moments of tension. There are moments of pure mania. There are moments that feel like a cartoon. There are moments that feel like a very serious drama. And I think it really, really balances like 8 tones well. I think it really makes sure you know what you're watching, but it does a lot of juggling. My only critique of that is it's really hard to, at times, invest in the character you just met, but then by the second scene, you're fully there. It's a movie with a lot of characters, but they all get enough time to shine that I'm really excited for them to get more time. It's hard to land a 5 new character movie, and I think this really does. We've only met Harley in Suicide Squad in a very specific way, so they kind of had to reinvent and reintroduce Harley and then also introduce the 4 other birds, and I really think they do in a miraculous way. So I've seen a lot of criticism about the amount of time, you know, your Black Canary and Huntress get, but I really think what they were able to accomplish is really impressive. Hey, my super chat works. Thank you, Sean Cal 26. That's awesome. Sorry to interrupt the review. This is the first time I've seen that logo. That makes me real happy. Okay, so I really think that what the movie does is it balances a structure shift in DC. Now, DC is going to be going from the shared universe to my theory is that they're going to be leaning into Elseworlds. They're going to be leaning into all of the broad swath of what comic books are. Comic books are a shared universe, but every single issue doesn't relate to another. Canon is a concept because if everything was canon, you wouldn't have to call it canon. So I think what DC is going to be doing is playing around with this very diverse array of characters that doesn't need to all know the one next door. I personally love that they went from Joker, which is the most upsetting, violent, somber, real, grounded, gritty superhero film that DC has done to date, and then juxtapose that with one of the wackiest, crazy superhero movies I've ever seen, and that shows the strength of the DC Films brand. I think it's a really strong move to come between those two, especially since those characters relate. Joker and Harley are very simpatico. They're yin to each other's yang in so many ways in the comics, and they're together, and this Joker we just have with Joaquin Phoenix has nothing to do with there's Harley Quinn, and audiences understand that. And that's a beautiful thing. We live in a time where the everyday audience gets that these are different Jokers that they're talking about in the film. Also, the fact that Harley Quinn is able to evolve from her Suicide Squad persona in a really natural way allows us to grow out this franchise. So I really liked that they followed up Joker with another strong film, and it doesn't take away from the other. Now, this also, I have to talk about Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina. I think that I gotta say it, and this is gonna sound hyperbolic. I think Ewan McGregor is one of the best superhero villains I've ever seen, and probably my favorite DC villain in this modern era of DC film. If you consider Joker a villain, that's a hard thing to land because he's the protagonist-antagonist, so I'm kind of taking out that Elseworld, and I'm just going to live over here with Chris Messina and Ewan McGregor. The duo of them, and I feel like Chris Messina needs a lot of love that he's not getting. Chris Messina plays Victor Zsasz in such a maniacal glee that isn't over the top in a very specific way. They have these levels where Ewan McGregor's at an 11 and he's at a 9, but because the 11 of Ewan makes the 9 seem almost chill, but then you isolate Chris Messina's Victor Zsasz and it's a totally frickin' that's a 9. That's mania and awesomeness. And he also plays him with this childlike glee over horrible things. I've never seen Victor Zsasz portrayed quite this way. The imagery, you guys have seen it. He doesn't have the more systematic, symmetrical scars. He has very chaotic, flowing scars, which is more realistic to what the character's like in the comic. It's just comic books. It's a great example of adaptation. Comic books, it makes sense to have the beautiful patchwork organized scars, but in real life that'd be very difficult to do and make look right or possible. So I really think the way they landed Zsasz is a great adaptation without being a direct copy of the character. They evolved him into the medium of film, and I think this movie overall does that really well. A lot of the characters are very different than their Birds of Prey comic book counterpart, but I think that's to the strength of the film. I also think that's to the strength of what DC Films is doing. I think keeping the comics benefits both the films and the comics. Now, I gotta talk about Ewan McGregor, like I said. Ewan McGregor delivered lines in this that on paper must have read completely different. I can't imagine watching this movie and reading the script side by side because there were so many times he'd say a line and I'd be like, what a brilliant, completely different line reading. What an insane, magical, wonderful, inspired take on that line. I'm never going to read Black Mask the same again. I'm never going to think about the character the same way again. I'm never going to see Ewan McGregor the same way again. He's honestly a Train Spotting meets Moulin Rouge, bombastic, completely in love with posh. Like, the character is just perfect. And the interaction with other characters really just develop the character more and more. There's a scene with Margot Robbie where it develops both their characters and like a tete-a-tete where both characters level up in like 5 minutes and you understand both of their backstories better. And once again, this is a freaking live-action cartoon, and some of these scenes wouldn't work in any other film, in any Marvel, DC, Image, any other comic book film. It's unique to this film, and as the movie develops, it leans more and more into that brand. There are action set pieces, which, by the way, the action in this film is gory and glorious. It's glorious. It is so palpably violent, but so cartoonish that you're cheering for broken bones. You're experiencing all of the glory of John Wick's finesse, but in a comic book cartoon medium. So they can land things that even wouldn't work in John Wick, and there's action set pieces that literally couldn't exist before Suicide Squad. So I gotta thank Suicide Squad. Also, to me, this felt like the tone they were working towards with Suicide Squad, and they landed it here. A lot of the things I liked about Suicide Squad, this did, and did it more consistently. And there's tons of little Easter eggs that are really fun. Once again, no spoilers. I'll do spoilers in a week. But a lot of the things they did were really inspired by the world they've already built, and I really think they landed that incredibly well, and I'm so proud. I mentioned the comics. It is very different from the comic books, but you'll notice a lot of like the Palmiotti run. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I love the guy, I just don't know how to pronounce his name. I've never heard it in real life. And I forget Amanda's last name. Amanda and Palmiotti, their run on Harley Quinn is very much at play here. So that Harley Quinn is the piece of the Birds of Prey puzzle, and the Birds of Prey, I believe, as the franchise evolves, will get to be more and more the Birds of Prey we know from the comics, but I really think it works as a film choice, so I have no regrets there. Individually, I gotta say, Margot Robbie delivers some of the best work of her career, and that's saying a lot, because this is not a actor showpiece. You know, comic book films, when you do them right, can be actor showpieces, but you wouldn't look at a Birds of Prey concept, trailer, any of that and be like, I bet there's a great award ceremony coming from this. But Margot, if you look at her individual pieces of work in this, she delivers some truly brutally painful moments while having a tongue-in-cheek awareness and glee, while also being very aware she's in a comic film, but not letting that shape the character away from being realistic, but in the surrealistic way that she has to be. It's hard to even describe this performance. She knows she's living in a cartoon world, but plays it with such groundedness, you're in. It's like watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Daniel Day-Lewis in it. Like, you know there's cartoons right over there, but the groundedness is so breathtaking you actually feel for her, and that's consistent. There's also, this isn't a spoiler, but she's drunk at one point, and the drunk acting is so hard to do in a straight film, like in a straight composed, like, straight man film, and she does that in a film that has wacky hijinks, and it's still over the top, but still real. It's some of the best drunk acting I've ever seen. Margot Robbie is... Since Wolf of Wall Street, I've been blown away by her, and this tour de force performance in a comic book film is next level, and I couldn't be happier with the cinematic Harley Quinn. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, a powerhouse actress in everything she does, not necessarily known for her comedy, but now she will be. She is so funny in this. She is so specific in this. I can't wait to do the spoiler review to talk about her character. There's a lot going on with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and her character has so much fun. I really loved seeing her get to play and laugh and be. It's a really fun time. Journey Smollett Bell is going to be a household name after this film. After this film, Black Canary will be everywhere. The character, the actress, the concept, she's just a beast. Like, her action choreography, and so much of it is her. They keep still on the frames. There's not a lot of the Jason Bourne style directing. There's a lot of like wides where you can tell it's her actually kicking ass. And I was so impressed with her choreography, with her fight training, and her acting. She's brilliant. I don't know her work very well, and I was blown away by her in this. So impressed. And once again, Ewan McGregor, Chris Messina stealing every scene they're in. I'm gonna do it like a 10-minute dissertation on their relationship on the spoiler review, because it was just delightful, and I can't wait to talk about some of the lines of dialogue that were somehow delivered in these ways. Once again, no spoilers, but man, we're going to dive in a week into the spoilers, because this movie made me so happy, and there's so much I want to talk about. So I would absolutely recommend Birds of Prey to everyone that loves comic book films. If you're a DC fan, if you're a Marvel fan, if you're a movie fan, this movie has lots of stuff for you. Go in knowing it's a cartoon. Go in knowing it's also still a drama. Go in knowing it is a restart and also doesn't ignore the past. Go in knowing it is a franchise in the making. Go in knowing that there are some performances here I didn't think would be this magical. I can't recommend it enough. It is probably like that B+, A- mark, somewhere in there for me, on the scale of, however you rate films. I rate them by letter grades. I didn't get a junior high school mentality for rating. So B+, A- for me, and I hope it makes a lot of money. It deserves to, and I cannot wait to talk about it in more detail in spoilers. So that is my Birds of Prey non-spoiler review. I really enjoyed it. Go check it out. See it big, see it loud, all those other cliches that are actually true. Okay, let me see what is going on. I'm quickly going to see if there was any super chats that came through. We got super chat testing working. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you, and now I know that it works, and that makes me real happy. I'm going to go over to the Streamlabs and make sure I didn't miss anything over in Streamlabs. In the meantime, that live chat is just going to be trucking along. I really do enjoy doing the show with you guys, so thank you for being in the live chat, and I'm really glad to see you here. And I'm sorry to anyone that's bouncing back and forth between me and Roxy. That was not expected, and here we are. All right, we got nothing new in Streamlabs, so it is safe to move back over to more news. All right, we are going to talk about WandaVision. WandaVision's got to be first, because in that 30-second Super Bowl spot, we got so much footage and so much insight and so many details. Like, we discovered the tone of 3 entirely new properties, 2.5, I guess, because the tone of Loki is going to be, we'll find out. But I was really impressed with 30 seconds, how much we learned from these properties. WandaVision absolutely looks like the crazy, surrealistic sitcom we heard it was, but we hadn't actually seen it yet. And with a few flashes of the camera, we got a lot of an idea of what they meant by that. Now, I want all of this to be as absurd as it sounds. I think the audiences are ready for it. I think a 6-hour movie, effectively, or however long the episodes are, is how you tell something as dense as the story looks. I think having the unreality of it allows for a lot of comic book things that wouldn't exist in the regular Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe is like our universe, but at an 11. And I think WandaVision's going to be like at a 15. We try to ground the Marvel Universe in some form of science. They don't have to do that with WandaVision. I think that Vision is effectively dead and Wanda creates a reality where he's not, and that's all of the show. I think she shatters reality by bringing Vision back, and that's how she has twins. Like, she has children with an android, and that will be a part of the comic, but it's a comic book, so the show's going to have to handle that differently. So I think she just shatters reality by bringing back Vision, and that's all in her head. So I think all of the golly gee shucks is how she remembers her childhood, that, I don't know, in whatever Freudian way, is interpreted into the reality she makes with Vision, and what she sees as the Americana 50s family, a la the Tom King Vision comic, which is inspired and fantastic, which you should read before the show, allows the reality where Vision still exists to exist. And I think it's brilliant. I think it's an inspired choice. I think it's a great way to tell very tricky comic book storytelling. I think it's a great way to bring in storylines that wouldn't work in other formats to work, and I think it's going to lead into the multiverse of madness. I'm sure that Doctor Strange is effectively just a sequel to WandaVision in a good way. That's not an insult to either one of them, but I think the events of WandaVision lead directly into the multiverse of madness. I really think she does a reverse House of M, which is a theory I've had since I did a movie fight like 3 years ago, and I said the way I'd bring the mutants into the universe is M of House. She says mutants instead of no more mutants, and I think she effectively does something like that. And I could even see them doing a close-up on her mouth as she says a word that shatters reality, just like House of M, and that leads into the insanity of what the WandaVision show is. So I could see that moment being the last bit of the third act that launches into Doctor Strange. I could see it being the opening of one of the first episodes that leads into the show. I don't know what they're going to do, but either way, I think House of M is going to have a big impact in the show, and I think Vision is going to be the tone of the show, the Tom King Vision. If you haven't read Vision, once again, absolutely do that, and I think we're in for a very, very good time. Dominic the writer, what comic should I read to understand WandaVision Disney Plus show? Vision by Tom King. House of M, which was a miniseries about 10 years ago. If you want to understand Wanda, I'd read some of the old Avengers runs featuring her when she has the twins. I'm not sure what numbers those were, but like around then, just look up like Wanda children, like twins. Look at those issues. I'd also recommend New Avengers by Brian Michael Bendis. There's some really good Scarlet Witch stuff in there. Yeah, those are my like 3 or 4 recommendations. I try that stuff out. But Vision by Tom King is for tone, and then House of M for what I think some storyline elements might be. All right, those are some theories. Oh, the costume. Man, I've seen so many articles talking about how the Scarlet Witch costume is one of the worst ever made. That is clearly, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'll eat crow later, to me that is clearly a moment within the reality of the show where just like, your Andy Griffith show Tone, she's trick-or-treating or opening the door for trick-or-treaters, like she probably has kids at that point, and she's dressed like that. That's a nod to the fans. That's a nod to us. The Luke Cage tiara moment in the show wasn't what he walked around in. That was a nod. This was a nod. I do think we'll see more of a Scarlet Witch outfit by the end of the episode, and maybe it'll even be influenced by that moment, by that nod. But the amount of people upset that that's a costume, we're 12 years deep into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's insane to me that I think a lot of it's clickbait. I think a lot of it is just people trying to, like, get nerds riled up. I'm a nerd that's riled up. It's disrespectful marketing. It's disrespectful to the medium of comic books to do clickbait like that, because we've evolved out of that. And any website running that shit, just be better. It's sad. Okay, so yeah, I think that costume is going to be utilized very well. I think it's a nod. I think it's fan service in a positive way, and I think it's going to be storyline-based fan service, which is exactly how fan service should be. I'm excited for that costume. I'm also excited. At one point, Vision is wearing a green flannel shirt, which is directly out of the Vision run written by Tom King, and it's clear the influence is there. Check out Tom King's Twitter. He retweeted it. I'm just beyond stoked. Okay, and then I talked about how I think that's going to lead directly into Doctor Strange. I don't know how much of the lead villain Scarlet Witch will be in Doctor Strange, but I can almost guarantee ramifications will be. I know she's in the film. They talked about how she's confirmed in the film, but I'm really curious if they make her the big bad of Doctor Strange, or if it's just her shattering reality causing the madness of the multiverse, and how that's going to come into play. But no matter what, the tone we saw in that 30 seconds is, I'm so ready. Speaking of tone, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I cannot believe the spy tone they were able to tell us in, 8 seconds? I like the Bucky haircut because it gives us a very 70s espionage tone. I really like the fact that the opening of the trailer is just him grabbing. He's obviously training with the shield and he's learning the physics of it, and that's going to be fun in itself. But like just the visual of him grabbing that shield, because he's our new Captain America. Like whether you subconsciously or consciously see that, it's just a really cool, powerful image to see the shield wielded by Sam Wilson so quickly and in the middle of the Super Bowl. I really, really dug that. I also think that we are going to see a very different Baron Zemo. That shot with the bullets raining down with Baron Zemo still not yet in his mask, but we're going to get the mask soon. He was a great villain to me in Civil War. I really think we're going to have a full-on Winter Soldier caliber spy film, and I think this film is going to be hours and hours long. We get 6 episodes of that as well. We don't know how long they are yet, but it's an espionage show, and I think this trailer really landed that tone. We also saw a very brief moment of U.S. Agent. He high-fives, it looks like an NFL player. Some sort of sports moment happens, and U.S. Agent is going to be, I think, pretty much the storyline we had recently in the comics, where basically, you know, people didn't want Sam Wilson, like, hashtag not my Captain America, and he is Captain America. That's who was wielding the shield. So I think U.S. Agent, played by, I think his name's Wyatt Russell. Wyatt Russell, he's perfect. That's going to be great. If you guys haven't seen Everybody Wants Some, please see Everybody Wants Some. He is so good in that. He's also got a great Black Mirror episode. He's also, I met him a couple times. He goes to a coffee shop I go to. He's a wicked nice guy. I'm just a fan of the dude. And he has the look. He looks like this all-American Americana, but just off. Like there's some dark mischief in his eyes that I think is going to play really well. I think we're going to see a lot of really interesting takes with U.S. Agent, and I think it's going to be very telling of the times we live in today. I think 2020 is going to be represented very clearly in the show, and I think, Sam Wilson's our Captain America, and a certain amount of people, a certain type of people didn't like a president we had, and I think those people are still really loud in parts of the country, and I think those people wouldn't want Sam Wilson to be Captain America. So I think that's going to be a very important story to tell. And I think having that in an espionage film setting, a spy film, perfect. Give me that. So we get that show in August. We get the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in August, which sounds really far away, but frankly, 6 months is going to fly by. It's February, right? Yeah, February. Did I do that math? Yeah. I think 6 months is going to fly by. And then in December, we get WandaVision. So August and December, 2 shows this year is incredible. I'm really excited. And then the button of that trailer, because of course there's a post-credit scene, is Loki. And with one line, we're reminded how powerful and awesome Tom Hiddleston's Loki is. I definitely think people have underestimated Loki after Thanos. I think we forget how good we had it. We had a really solid Phase 1 Loki, and I think he got used a lot, so people forget like the rush of seeing Loki. When Loki put his full Asgardian regalia on with the scepter and walked out in Avengers, that was a powerful moment, but it was so long ago in comic book time that we don't remember that moment as clearly as, and I remember it, but like I think that like the tone of comic book films doesn't remember it. I think we're going to see that Loki back. I think the show is going to remind people how much they love Loki, because that one line, man, I got chills, and that's an impressive acting to just like, whew, moment. So I really think this 30 seconds did a hell of a lot for the shows and for the Disney Plus network, which also, by the way, Disney Plus, check out, there's some articles out. They just had Bob Iger did an investors call. They talked about some of the numbers, and it is insane what Disney Plus has put up with The Mandalorian, with their archive of content, with the Jeff Goldblum show, which I love, and I'm really excited to see how it grows in August and December when the Marvel stuff comes out, because it's already killing it, and I'm really excited to see what Disney Plus becomes as it branches out. And I'm curious how long these shows are. We had various run times with The Mandalorian. I'm curious if these are going to be closer to half hour, closer to an hour. I'm really curious what it's going to be like to basically to see these as long movies, because I think these stories can definitely last that tell of time. So I'm pretty stoked. I'm going to take a tiny little drink break because I am very thirsty. I've been talking for 28 minutes. What up, Nolan Dean? Okay. And Nolan, I agree. I do think Baron Zemo is going to be involved in the U.S. Agent. I think that the way that he was able to turn the Avengers against each other in Civil War, I think is going to be reflecting how he uses U.S. Agent to undermine the Avengers again. I think that Baron Zemo is a calculator, man. He's the guy pulling the strings. So I think Baron Zemo and U.S. Agent are definitely hand in hand in the show. Okay. I'm going to pop over and check on Streamlabs, so I'll make sure I don't miss anybody, because I don't want to be that guy ever. And I missed a couple people on one of my streams, and I have learned a valuable lesson. All right, Streamlabs, we got Starbug40. Starbug40, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I see no message, but just Streamlabs donation. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And your name's great, Starbug40. Is that a comic book thing? Because I have, like, there's so many. Anyway, tell me next time. Okay, back at it. Okay. By the way, we also have news that there are 3 shows in production from Disney Marvel Cinematic TV. Those are, of course, the ones we got in that trailer. WandaVision, Falcon the Winter Soldier, Loki. But we found out there are 7 in development. So we knew about 5 of those. I'm pretty sure they announced 8 total. So the 5 we knew about were Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, What If, and She-Hulk, right? Like, those are the ones we knew about. And I'm pretty sure they're casting Miss Marvel and Moon Knight and She-Hulk and all that stuff right now. What If's been in development, but it's animated, so it's got some time left to go. I'm not sure when that one's coming out. Hawkeye, we know who's in it. Like, you know, we've got some details. I still don't know if they've confirmed Haley Steinfeld, which is, I want that confirmation, man. I want to know. That leaves 2. That leaves 2 Disney Plus MCU shows we don't know about. One of them, I think, is Young Avengers. And I think that's incredibly exciting. The way they set up Cassie Lang, the way they've cast which characters are coming into play, the way they're shaping the universe, I could see Young Avengers, and I would love to see that get some time to shine. I think that the second show is either going to be a sequel to one of the Phase 4 shows that they'll announce after the Phase 4 show. Like, they'll be like, oh, by the way, or, and this is a crazy pipe dream, this is insane, it is a tinfoil hat theory, this is a whole thing. I think one of those shows is going to be an X-Men based show. Maybe not X-Men proper, but maybe X-Factor, maybe not X-Force, because that would live on Hulu, because that's R-rated. But I think that there's Generation X. Oh, man. Oh, I want that so bad now. A 90s Generation X show. I think it's going to be a mutant. I think it could be a mutant-based show, and that's where I would want that to live. I'd like to see big spectacle in the theater, and I'd love to see mutants in Xavier's School for Gifted Children on TV. I'd love to get some time to learn the characters. I think what they're going to be doing is Miss Marvel is going to be introduced on her show, and then she's going to the movies. There's almost no doubt in my mind. These characters are going to get their origins, they're going to get their time to shine, and then they're going to be in the big blockbusters. Kevin Feige's all but said you need to see the shows to understand the movies, but he's a smart businessman. He's not going to make it confusing to be in the theater. It's just going to enhance your experience a lot. I think that's what they should do with X-Men. I think there's 7 X-Men comics right now. Let them grow on TV, learn the characters, then put them in theaters. Have them get their school time, have some Danger Room stuff here, and then give them their giant villains in theaters. I want X-Men to be in both formats, and I think it's a really great opportunity. Trevor Madison, thank you so much, man. That means the world. Anyone that their lives discovered comics through me is beyond flattering, and I appreciate you watching me since Marvel Movie News, and thank you so much. And you're in high school, which is a great time to read in comics, especially if you're in high school now. That's really dope. Once again, guys, I will be doing a little less in the live chat than I usually do, because I'm trying to keep this show streamlined and chop out bits, but I try to, whenever I look up and see something, I try to catch it. But Streamlabs and the freaking Super Chat, I will always read those. I promise you I will check those out. But apologies if you're in the live chat and I haven't caught your stuff. Know that as soon as I wrap this, I read them all after. Know that I check out every single one, and they mean the world to me, so thank you. I just can't read them all during the show because there's way too much going on. All right, we also got a Fast 9 trailer. Now, apologies to y'all if you follow me for just comic book stuff, but man, oh man, that's why this show is Coy's Comic Cinema and Curls, because I like to talk about other movies, I like to talk about the gym, I like to talk about UFC and those other things, so this is when I derail from my comic book stuff and get to talk about other franchises I love. Last week, the big hype was Lethal Weapon 5, because I am a giant Lethal Weapon fan, and that is the most confirmation we've gotten. We have a video of a producer saying they're working on it. That is the closest, that's closer than I ever thought we'd get, frankly. If that starts filming, I'm going to do everything in my hosty power to do press on that. Anyway, Fast 9 is MCU, Lethal Weapon. Those are like tied for first. DC Films, Fast franchise. Like all of that is like my whole, and then like I love James Bond, I love Harry Potter, I love Star Wars, but those are down here compared to these 4. Like these 4 are just like tied at first and second for glory. I gotta say, that Fast 9 trailer is absolutely absurd in all the ways I wanted it to be. This is a franchise that started 19 years ago stealing DVD TV combos and now has evolved into effectively superhero content in a freaking crazy way. This trailer was 4 minutes. It was supersized, supercharged, super crazy, and I loved it. It gave away way too much, but at this point, it's the Fast franchise. I don't know if I drank the Kool-Aid and I'm just like, whatever, I love it, or if it's the fact that it's gotten so big that a big trailer just makes sense. I don't love that they gave away who John Cena is in the trailer. Is it a spoiler if I spoil a trailer? I'm going to talk about the trailer openly. I'm sorry if this is a trailer spoiler. I don't love that John Cena is Vin Diesel's brother as revealed in the opening, because that could have been a moment. The button of the trailer, though, I'm really happy about, because we've wanted justice for a really long time, and man, oh man, did we finally get justice. And they didn't reveal how that happened, which is very important. I want that to be, I don't even want that in a trailer. I want that Han moment to be the only moment we get. I would like maybe Han driving a car in the next trailer, but I don't want to know anything else about how he's back. Also, good on Gal Gadot, right? She brings people back from the dead. First Chris Pine, now we get Han Solo back from the dead. Gal Gadot's boyfriends are made of hard stock and come back from the dead. Also, I'd love if Gal is in this anywhere. She's just wonderful. So this trailer, I really, really liked. It is as over the top as it gets, but it opens with family, and that's one of the things I like about the franchise. I really, really love the fact that this franchise, it supports my favorite thing, which is sitting around a barbecue and talking. It supports what it means, like that family isn't just blood, and this trailer actually uses that to its advantage. Like, just because you're blood doesn't mean you're family. And I also love that the franchise, like, it's gonna go to space in the 10th one, and it's still gonna feel like all these people live in East LA, and I love that. It felt like the tone I missed, and I liked Hobbs and Shaw, but it's a spin-off, so it's not gonna have the same tone. So this reminded me how much I love the Fast franchise. We have that shot at the end of the trailer where they defy physics in an all-new way. We've got a Fiero with a rocket attached to it. We've got the whole cast. Just seeing the cast gathering in an underground warehouse, as they often do, it just makes me happy. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this franchise, but I love them so much. Yeah, Justice is Coming is a fantastic catchphrase. Nolan Dean, you let me know if you're in Glasgow and you check any of that out, because that sounds incredible. Yep, I agree. Robert Meyer Burnett does, the Han thing is specific to him as well as a lot of us diehards, and it's really exciting. And Chris Morgan is teased. He's had some ideas for a long time, so I wouldn't be surprised if Chris planted stuff in 7 and 8 that are going to lead to how Han is back in 9, because I think Chris Morgan's had a weird plan for Han for a long time. That character is beloved. I'm very excited. Yeah, so ignore physics. Enjoy the Fast franchise. If you follow me, if you're one of the 100 people right now watching, or any of these people right now talking, if you're in LA, let your local theater know that I, Coy Jandro, want to host a watch-along. I'm trying to get Draft House in LA. I'm trying to figure out if Scum and Villainy wants to do it. I'm going to talk to ArcLight. Since I'm not at Collider as much anymore, I don't know my relationship with them with booking stuff, so I'm not going to go through Collider. I'm going to do it with me. Like, I, Coy, want to host a watch-along. So if the more people that are my fans reach out, then they'll know those tickets will go, because someone will buy them, i.e. you guys. So if you want to watch all the Fast and Furiouses with me, I want to do a giant 8-movie leading up to 9th movie 2-day watch-along. We're talking Slumber Party. We're talking Coronas. We're talking the whole shebang. I'm going to try to get sponsors. I'm starting this mission now. This is where it begins. So yeah, tweet me. Tweet your theaters. Tweet the Universal and Fast and Furious people that you want to do a watch-along with me. I got some ideas. I've been doing it every year since Fast 5. So starting with Fast 5, I rewatch all the films. So this is going to be my, 5th one of these, because we did it for Hobbs and Shaw as well. So I love doing this with my friends, and I want to do it with my internet friends. I want to share the insanity with you guys. So I want Coy's Fast Watch Along. Hashtag Coy's Fast Watch Along to be a thing. We're going to make it happen. And thank you guys as ever. Starbug with a super chat says, Starbug is one of the crew from the British sci-fi comedy Red Dwarf fly around did. I've never seen Red Dwarf. That is a British sci-fi show I've never heard of. I will absolutely IMDb that right after this. That is what Starbug is. Thank you for telling me that. I would not have known that. Excellent. Let's see. Jenna says, would love to see me on Fandom SJU more. I love those guys. I've been trying to get over there more. Tell them that. I would love to see them more. Thank you for wanting me there, and I miss movie fights so much, but I also would love to do SJU and fandom stuff, so I'm available. I got more time than I like. But I'm still too busy to properly set up this, so it's a hypocrisy, and I apologize. It's ironic, frankly. Okay. Look at that hashtag. It looks great. Dead stock deals. I will absolutely what I'm thinking is I'll host the whole thing, and then I'll have people come out and introduce the next film with me. There's some that I'm going to be selfish and want to introduce myself, but there's a lot of Fast fans out there, and Hector Navarro is absolutely one of them. I want to have Hector doing this with me. Hector is absolutely a name I definitely want to be a part of this. So, yes, Hector Navarro is already on the short list. All right, so Ivan Soto, I agree that a lot of people guessed it. It was a first trailer reveal, maybe a second trailer reveal. Like, give us a little, but I totally agree. A lot of people had guessed it. Okay, we are going to go over to what else we got. What else did I promise to talk about today? Because there's a lot of news that happened this week. Also, I think I'm going to try to do comic book centric stuff on Wednesday, movie centric stuff on Friday, and then I'm going to try to do more breakout stuff because I know watching for an hour is a lot to consume, and I totally understand. That's hard to do, but I do want to try to like break up the news week a little bit more and at least one live show a week so I can interact with you guys because I love this part. This is when I get to effectively meet and hang with you guys. So I'm going to try to do a couple shows a week and at least one live chat. Okay, let's talk about comic books. It is Wednesday, which means comic books are out today. I'm going to check on the Streamlabs real quick as I click around my my to-do lists and madness. I think we're probably good, but I just want to make sure because I do not want people to miss out. Okay, boom. Let's see. You know, this is going to make me a horrible sports fan, Yellow Flash. I did not watch the Super Bowl. I decided that I have been on my phone too much, and I have been far too attached to the internet and to pop culture. It is my job, but I made it my life, and I love that. But I was up to 9 hours and 45 minutes on average on my phone. I downloaded what are they called? Like a clock. It keeps an eye on my screen time. I downloaded one of those apps, and I've been on my phone almost 10 hours a day of the 16 hours I'm awake. No, I'm awake for more than that. Like of the 18 hours I'm awake, I was on my phone 10 of them, and that's not healthy. That wasn't good. So I've been trying to take little retreats to myself. So I actually went out to the desert last weekend and deeply unplugged. I put my phone in airplane mode all of Saturday night into Monday night, and that included the Super Bowl. So I actually didn't watch I actually missed the WandaVision thing until Monday. I was one of those people. But I didn't actually watch the game. I watched the halftime show, I watched the commercials, and I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm a way bigger Patriots fan than an NFL fan. Once again, no Rob Lowe hat. So I'm a bad footballer. I actually still don't know who won. Yeah, that's how bad of a fan I am. I'm a UFC guy more than an NFL guy, not gonna lie. So, I don't know. But to the 100 people watching, I am sorry. I have not watched the Super Bowl yet, and I really needed to really get my head out of the internet and out of the pop culture, and it was really nice to unplug. I actually went so... Teddy bears? I actually went so unplugged. I went to a place down near Mexico camping, and I actually found pictographs. It was a historic campsite that has pictographs at the end of a 14-mile hike. So I saw the opposite of the internet. I saw some of the first man-made drawings by hand. So I saw rock formations with the beginnings of art, and it was such a great way to juxtapose my internet insanity. It was really beautiful. The campground was amazing. There was also tons of handmade statues by this artist. That's if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, there's a dragon that I came across that went over a road, and it's 20 feet tall and hundreds of feet long, handmade wrought iron dragon sculpture. So I needed to get the hell out of Dodge, and I deeply unplugged, and it was real nice. So I have not yet Super Bowl, but thank you for the question. All right, on to comic book news. Today is February 5th. So if you want to know what comic books I'll be picking up, there's about 40 of them. I will be doing a new thing on my Patreon where I'm basically going to give you every single comic book I read that week reviewed. So I think it's one of the $15 where I review 100 comics. It's going to be a letter grade. So A, B, C, D, F, A+, A-, A-, whatever. But every single comic I read. So if you want to know my deep into my pull list. That's the way to do it. I'm always going to give you guys my like my top 9 or 10 or whatever on here and on Instagram. On Instagram, I give the pictures where it's like the 9 grid, and those are my favorite comics of the week. I'm always going to do that. But if you want to know about a certain comic, if you want to know about all of the comics, check out my Patreon. That's where I'll be doing that, because I put in like 60 hours of reading a week. So I figure like $15 for 60 hours reading a week, I could at least make that something, because I know a lot of you want, like, you know, comic book pull lists, and I figure that's a cool way to do it, so I can directly talk to you through that. So I will, like I said, I'll always give you my recommendations. I'm not going to charge you guys to what I recommend, because that seems gross. But if you want to know every single thing I read, check that out. This week, the 5th of February, I recommend Batman number 88. James Tynion IV continues his brand new arc on Batman. Only a few issues out of that crazy long Tom King run. I love the Tom King run, but I'm really enjoying what James Tynion is doing with Batman, so I recommend that book. We got Black Cat number 9, man. Black Cat is a sleeper book. I never expected this book to be one I pulled every week. I never expected Black Cat to be one of my, like, top of the list. It's so consistent. There's some individual issues where, like, she goes to dinner with Taskmaster, not with Taskmaster, with Batroc the Leaper, and it's charming, it's weird, it's Silver Age comic-tastic. These are characters you wouldn't expect together in very normal circumstances, and those are so much fun. I love that type of book. Black Cat has been an absolute blast. We've also got Daredevil number 17. Daredevil, written by Chip Zdarsky, and the artists on this book, I should write them all down. There's like 2 or 3 artists that rotate, are always incredible. Daredevil, this is my favorite run in years. Chip Zdarsky always impresses me. Everything he's done, be it Spider-Man, be it Daredevil, be it sex criminals, be it writer or artist, Chip Zdarsky, man, if for whatever reason you're watching the show, you're one of my favorite people in comics. You have absolutely blown me away the last 3 years. I discovered you about 3 years ago, and I can't get enough of your work. I also was lucky enough to meet Chip at San Diego Comic-Con this year. We talked for like an hour before he went and frickin' got an Eisner. Chip's great, and his work is fantastic. I just want that man to have more money, so buy his stuff. Chip Zdarsky, thank you for your Daredevil run. It's absolutely incredible. Also this week is Immortal Hulk Great Power number 1. I have no idea what this book's going to be, because I'm 3 weeks behind on comic books, but the cover is hulked out Spider-Man, and it's in an Immortal Hulk book. Immortal Hulk has been an absolutely insane run, so if they're bringing in... Hulk and Spider-Man, that's happened before. I don't know how that can work in this book. I don't know what that's going to be, but I got to check it out. So that book is out today. Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity, number 3. If you guys know me, you know how much I love this series. Issue 1 and 2 blew me away. It is a true crime book with a CSI investigator, Harley Quinn, investigating a real serial killer take on the Joker. And I am always impressed. The art, photorealistic. The writing, incredibly well-researched, well-written, funny, dark. Cami Garcia writes the hell out of comics. She writes them really young adult well with her Teen Titan stuff, really dark well with this book. My English isn't great right now. I'm speaking poorly because I'm thirsty. But check out this book. It is mind-blowingly good. It is the darkest Joker Harley book I've read in a long time. Okay, Lois Lane number 8 is... The Lois Lane run has been brilliant. We knew it was going to be. Greg Rucka writes the hell out of Lois. The art is this almost Jessica Jones-esque. It feels like almost scratch pad. It's really clean and clear while being dirty and uncomfortable. And the Lois Lane book is her dealing with really messed up stuff, and it's not a Superman book, it's a Lois Lane book, and I love that it's journalism, I love that it's investigating, I love that Lois gets her time to shine. So it's only 8 issues in. Do go back and pick them all up. It is definitely a book you need to read as they go along, so check out Lois Lane. It's only on issue 8. It's only going to be a 12-issue run. It's a very attainable miniseries. Magnificent Miss Marvel number 12. Magnificent Miss Marvel has been an incredibly consistent book. All of her runs are really accessible, and she's kind of taken that Spider-Man spot where you're dealing with family issues, you're dealing with the underdog, you're dealing with a girl protecting, or a character protecting her city, in this case a girl. She's protecting Jersey City versus Queens. It's got just as much to do with your neighbor as it does the big bad supervillains. It's got, the romance of being young and in love. And to be honest, I don't know a lot about Muslim culture, and this book has taught me a lot about a very important culture that's in the country. I don't know a lot about that world, and it's so dense, and there's so much in it, and there's so much culture, and there's so much history, and I love when a comic book can be both entertaining and educating, so I love that this Miss Marvel book has taught me about so many things I didn't know. So I'm a big fan of Miss Marvel, and issue 12 is out today. Miles Morales, number 15. I am tricky with Miles Morales because I love the character and I want more of him, but I feel like a lot of people, when they write him, he's just Spider-Man with a little extra zap. Not so with the current writer, Solomon, I think, I'm so bad with names. I'm going to start writing down names next to it. Either way, it's Miles Morales, number 15. He writes Miles in a very real way. He's a little older. Miles Morales in this book is dealing with a lot of Silver Age Spider-Man problems, but it's all new characters. I love his relationship with his uncle. I love his love life. I love that Miles feels different than Peter Parker. I can't recommend this book enough. Savage Avengers, number 0. That's right. If you're not reading Savage Avengers, I imagine this is a great place to jump on because you'll get the tone of the book. You'll understand what the book is. The first 6 issues were Mike Deodato Jr. on art, Jerry Duggan writing. Jerry Duggan, one of the best Deadpool writers of all time, assembled one of the craziest Avengers teams. It's the X-Force of Avengers. The Savage Avengers, if you like X-Force, check out the Savage Avengers. It's Wolverine, Conan the Barbarian, Elektra, Venom, Brother Voodoo. The team is crazy, and they're all badass. So check out this book, and this is the issue 0, which I assume you won't have had to read any of the rest. It's going to be a flashback, I think. I haven't read it. It's out today. And my last must-read of the week, X-Men. Fantastic Four, number 1. Chip Zdarsky back on the list. 2 books this week. He said this is the first Marvel book with real ramifications, which is funny because Daredevil definitely has that. But that leads me to believe there's going to be a lot of big stuff for both the Fantastic Four and the X-Men in this book. And it's by Terry and Rachel Dodson on art. I love the Dodsons. They draw beautiful, beautiful character work. They're dudes. Their musculature is like you'd actually see on a bodybuilder. Their women are incredible. It's a creepy thing to say, but I love how beautiful their characters are. I love how real their characters look. I love how it's comic book hyper sensationalized, but also grounded. I think the Dodsons just, I feel like they don't get enough credit. I think the Dodsons are incredible artists, and teaming with Chip Zdarsky, I want that in my life. So, quick run through, then we'll look at the live chat for a second. We got Batman 88, Black Cat number 9, Daredevil 17, Immortal Hulk, Great Power number 1, Joker, Harley, Criminal Sanity number 3, Lois Lane number 8, Magnificent Miss Marvel number 12, Marauders number 12. Oh, I didn't talk about Marauders. Kitty Pryde, now Kate Pryde, as a pirate rescuing mutants all around that didn't make it to Krakoa. Brilliant book. Miles Morales number 15, Savage Avengers number 0, and X-Men Far From Home number 1. I said 10, I gave you 11. That is how math works. Check out those books. I'm going to check out the glory of the live chat. Okay, Must-Tack reviews. Oh, Muse-Tack, like music, like Muse-Tack, I'm guessing. Hey, any Birds of Prey credit scenes? Birds of Prey features there's something at the very end of the credits. It's funny, and it's not necessary, but it's necessary. It's fun. Check it out. Birds of Prey does have something at the very, very end of the credits. Must-Tack reviews with the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. That way I can see it. Call to Action podcast. Oh, you guys, I am so bad at returning messages on Instagram. I'm not even kidding. On my to-do list, which isn't here, but it usually is, on my to-do list is respond to Instagram messages. You guys are literally the second one down. I am a monster. Call to Action says, Call to Action podcast. When are we going to get you on one of our shows? Interview on Chill to Action or Competitor or Judge on Schmobates. Okay. I said February. It is now February. I'm an absolute monster. We can definitely do an interview because that's probably a little less time schedule. Like we can probably do that like whenever. Like I can give you guys an hour when I have an hour. Whereas the judging, you guys probably have a schedule where it's like 4 o'clock Thursday. I'm so scattered in life right now. I can definitely do an interview. Let's plan for an interview, and then at some point down the line, I will judge because I want to help you guys out. There's so many of you, and you're all great. Every person I've met that says they're with Call to Action has been just delightful. Thank you for your support, and I am absolutely going to jump on the interview. I leave for Hawaii in 2 weeks, so before I go to Hawaii, in the next 2 weeks, I promise in the next 2 weeks, I'm sorry I've been chaotic. I went to Atlanta, I went to New York, I've had a crazy year. But in the next 2 weeks, I promise. Thank you for your patience. We're going to get on that, and thank you for the super chat. All right, scrolling down. Coys, the movie fights goats will be great on Schmobates. I agree, Jake. When there's time that it's not 100 people on schedule, Jake, I absolutely want to. And always, what up, man? I would kill on Schmobates. I'm a debate champion. I should have been a lawyer. I could have made a lot more money in another life. And if I didn't mind petty crime. Okay. Like you, Mark Bagley is my favorite Spider-Man artist of all time, especially in the early 90s, and for introducing Karn to the comic book world. How about yourself? Yeah, man. Mark Bagley is the GOAT. Mark Bagley is the Tom Brady of Spider-Man artists. He's also so good now on Venom. Whenever he pops up in a book, I'm really excited. I loved his stuff with Chip Zdarsky on Life Story. I think he's absolutely, like, Mark Bagley. John Romita Sr. and Mark Bagley are probably tied for first. Actually, John Romita Jr. too. Those three. That's the Mount Rushmore. The Mount Rushmore is Steve Ditko, John Romita Jr., John Romita Sr., Mark Bagley, and anyone else I forgot. But those are the four I picture as the Mount Rushmore Spider-Man artists. Oh, Todd McFarlane, though. Man, comics are great, y'all. Okay, do you guys want to talk about older comics? Let's talk about... Ooh, good question. Once again, I'm going to try to get in the live chat stuff. I'm not going to see as many. Do I meditate much? I actually try to meditate twice a day. I've talked about it a little bit, but not a lot. I have like decently crippling anxiety. I'm usually fine, but I have panic attacks when I don't take care of myself. When I let it build up, I definitely have moments of like, it gets bad, man. I get like the cold sweats, shakes, like I can't do, and meditating's really helped me. So I definitely try to get at least once a day in meditation in. I try to do two. I try to get one in the morning before I put coffee in my system, and before I eat. So I try to wake up, do about half an hour of life stuff, then meditate. And I do about 20 minutes of meditation, sometimes guided, sometimes on my own. And then I try to meditate one more time when my schedule allows, at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon when I'm about to get into my nighttime, whatever, like if I'm going to see a movie, if I'm going to start dinner, if I'm going to start my night task. So I try to break up my day, and I try to get 2 meditations in. The Headspace app has been great for me, as a Ziva. Ziva meditation has been really great for me as well. And I want to do TM one day, like Transcendental Meditation. I've heard a lot of really good things, but it's very expensive. I haven't been able to afford it. So one day I'm going to do TM, but I'm not there yet, and I am very, very... encouraging of meditation. I think it's really important. I think as much as I talk about like working my body, I think working your brain is just as important. I think that like bicep curls and brain curls are really, really incredible. One of the epiphanies I had was that meditating is like trying to keep your brain quiet, but that's impossible because your brain is actively a functioning thing. So I used to get mad when thoughts would pop up and I was like, no, I want quiet. But I realized the moment I had a thought and I was able to let it go and bring back quiet, it was literally like a curl, right? So I was able to like curl calmness. And that visual really helped me rationalize doing it more because I realized the benefits of it. So I think meditation is extremely important. I think mental health is weirdly maligned in this country. I don't think it's talked about enough. So I will always try to jump on a question about mental health. And I think meditating helps. So if you suffer from depression, anxiety, stage fright, claustrophobia, any number of things, I think meditating can really help you. So check out, there's tons of free apps and there's tons of opportunities to do that. And check them out. Trevor, that makes me really happy. You're going to try it out. That's stoked. What are my favorite snacks to eat while reading comics? Eating and reading comics is tricky because I like paper comics and then I also have to read a lot digital because there's just only so much room. But I eat a lot of peanut butter apples. That's kind of my go-to snack. I love a good, crisp Pink Lady apple with reduced fat peanut butter. And it's not because it's reduced fat that I like it. I hate stirring peanut butter. And I eat really healthy, but my peanut butter is fake as fuck. Like, straight up. The peanut butter I eat, there's no way any of it's real. The second ingredient's like saturated, blah, blah, blah. That is my one major vice, is my peanut butter is not good for me. Skippy and Jif are my jams. There's no way that shit is real. But on an apple, a nice crisp Pink Lady apple, it is delightful. I'm also a big fan of celery. I'm a big fan of, what else do I eat, man? Clementines are the shit. I try to do a lot of smoothies, and those are good for reading comics because it's safe-ish. Yeah, smoothies, peanut butter apples. Those are my number 1 and 2 stacks. I agree. Pink Lady apples are the bombs. Okay, let's get back to the comic book world. We're almost at an hour, and you guys have been great, and we've kept like 100 people in here the whole time, which is very flattering. Okay, let us go over to the last week of comics I read was January 8th's books. I'm about halfway through January 15th's books. My favorite books from January 8th. I know it's almost a month ago. I'm going to try to catch up 2 weeks at a time, and eventually, probably by the end of February, I'll be caught up to date. Apologies on the delayed push on comics. As always, check out my Instagram. I'm going to do that like 9 grid of what comics I enjoyed the most from the week. We're up to 1/8/2020. Number 1, Ascender, number 8. Absolutely beautiful art, absolutely beautiful writing. It's got this watercolor feel, but the storyline is this sci-fi epic that's really brutal. It's a fun book. Black Cat number 8, talked about Black Cat number 9 earlier. I'm a month behind. Black Cat number 8 was a fun read. Clock number 1, a new book from Image Comics dealing with the end of the world, basically talking about like cancer and global pandemics and trying to save the whole world. And the clock is like our death clock. The clock represents the end of us, and it's a really jarring book, and it's really it's intense. It's like a thriller. Reminded me of like that Contagion kind of pace. Dollhouse Family number 3, the DC Black Label, all incredible. The DC Hill House label, all incredible. Every single book I've read from Black Label and every book I've read from Hill House knocked it out of the park. Whoever's curating these runs needs whatever medal they give out for curating runs. I am a big fan of the Black Label because it's the darker side of comic book characters that I love. I tend to like X-Force a little bit more than X-Factor or X-Men. I like the darker tilt, and Black Label is able to tell those stories. And then Hill House, I'm not a horror comic guy, but I have loved every Hill House book, and Dollhouse Family is no exception. A girl... I don't want to give anything away. There's a dollhouse that has a great history, and there's a family that comes across it, and there's certain like shrinky biggies. It's really fun. It's really demonic. It's really different. The art's great. The story's great. Check it out. Ghost Spider number 6. The Great Spider-Gwen is going by Ghost Spider nowadays. She's popping in and out of universes. There's a lot of Spider-Verse flavor. There's a lot of Peter Parker and her teaming up in this book from different universes. It is a fun book, and as ever, her playing with the Mary Janes, like Spider-Gwen and the Rock Band, that's such a fun take on the character. Immortal Hulk number 29. I talk about Immortal Hulk all of the time. Immortal Hulk is a horror comic about the Hulk. The Hulk started as that kind of character. I love to see that take back. Tom Bennett's art is gross and violent and visceral, and like it almost, you can almost smell it. Al Ewing on writing, every time he puts out an Immortal Hulk, he reinvents the character for me. It also deals with a lot of like commentary on world issues. The book is able to balance a lot of different tones, and Immortal Hulk is just top notch. Let's see. Magnificent Ms. Marvel, I talked about number 12, so you can imagine I like number 11. Marvel's X number 1. Marvel's is a book that is near and dear to my heart. It's one of the first painted comics I picked up. I'm a huge Alex Ross fan. Marvel's is Alex Ross on art with Kurt Busiek on writing. And it's from the perspective of the people in the Marvel Universe, kind of like looking up at these Marvels, right? So it's the everyday journalist experiencing the world. I love the Marvels run. Marvel's X is a very different take, and it's written by Alex Ross. It's the first book I've read written by Alex Ross, and it's dealing with a completely different side of the Marvel Universe. I'm not sure where it's going to go yet, but I do recommend the first issue to see if it's your thing. New Mutants number 5. People keep asking me which is my favorite of the new X-Men books. I like most of them. X-Force is probably my favorite because I have a bias towards that kind of X-Men tale. It's about the mercenary side. It's about the more violent side of defending a world that hates and fears you. They have to do the brutal stuff. The stuff with Domino in that X-Force book is and I love Quentin Quire and Wolverine's relationship. So X-Force is my number 1, but I feel like New Mutants and Marauders are tied for number 2. Marauders is an insane, like, gallivanting around the world pirate book, but then New Mutants feels like the Sienkiewicz era of New Mutants. The art is so pretty, and the line work is so unique, and the characters are so the New Mutants. It feels young, but not immature. It feels inventive, but not like it's trying too hard. The art is just, I love the New Mutants book, so check it out. Issue 5 is out. It was out on the 8th, and it was one of my favorite books. Savage Avengers number 9, talked about the upcoming issue earlier, but this one was a lot of fun. Venom number 22, Donny Cates, as ever, reinventing Venom. Now they're on the Venom Island storyline, where Venom had to basically take a bit of Carnage with him when the Absolute Carnage run ended, and it's him dealing with the ramifications of that. Mark Bagley on art, one of my favorite artists of all time. Donny Cates writing the hell out of Eddie Brock. Venom Island is a lot of fun. And the final book of the week, there's X-Force. X-Force number 5. I already talked about X-Force and how much I love it. Issue 5 came out on the 8th. So if you want to see those covers visually, check out my Instagram. Those are the books that I recommend from January 8th. Next time I do one of these, I'm hoping to cover both the 15th and the 22nd, but that is a lot of comics to read, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try to catch up for you guys because I love talking comics with you guys. All right, we're going to jump into the live chat very briefly. We got a super chat, which is the best way to reach me because you guys are really active in here, which is very lovely. Tim Berry asks, am I going to check out Lock and Key on Netflix? Yes, Tim Berry, I am. I am a big Joe Hill fan. I'm a big Lock and Key fan. The trailer looks great. I know there was a press event today where a lot of people that weren't me, and I'm very jealous, got some really cool lock and key swag. I think the comic is written in such a cinematic way that there's a really good opportunity to grow into a show, and I think it's a great comic to adapt. I think it's also a comic that the show's going to bring. He's going to have a huge resurgence and have a really good opportunity to find a new audience through the show. Netflix has been really good at picking up obscure properties that can really get people into weirder comics, and I think Lock and Key is a great example of that. And it looks like they adapted it really well. So I'm very excited for that show. Let's see. Meditating is to completely quiet the brain is really possible in today's world, especially not with all the wireless tech that's present. Glenn, I think it might have been impossible from the jump, man. Since we were capable of like cognizant thought, I feel like our brains have been loud. I do think it's only gotten worse, but I think that I think the idea of quieting the mind is like a misnomer. Like I don't know if it's ever been possible, but I agree. Like right now, it's especially hard. Let's see. Will I have a consistent live chat schedule? Brian NG, will I have a consistent live chat schedule? My manager's actually already yelled at me about this. I wanted to do one today because it was Wednesday and because of Birds of Prey last night, but I plan to do at least one at the same time every week, and then I'll probably do like a breaking news type thing, and those might not even be live. I really thought I'd be back on my schedule by now, but now that Hawaii's around the corner and I've got to prep all my interviews, that's throwing a lot of things aside. And my Schmodown schedule, Schmo stuff keeps coming up. My schedule's messy, but I do think Wednesday every week I'm going to try to get a solid time because I feel bad. And then I think one more show a week, maybe Friday, and then breaking news. So I'm going to try to do 2 shows a week and then break-ins, maybe building up to 4 shows a week. But for now, Wednesday definitely, maybe Friday, and go from there. And I am very sorry I don't have my shit together yet. I want to. Does Amy Dallin have a channel? I don't know. I work with Amy a lot, but I don't know her. I follow her on Twitter and Instagram, but I don't know her YouTube presence. Apologies there. The original 90s Marvel's so good. Absolutely they are. Garth McMurray, what up, man? Marvel's podcast on the way too. Hell yeah. What up? Actually, this is helping. Let's see when you guys tag me. I know you've had meetings, etc., but anytime of your set live stream schedule yet. Oh, that was kind of what I just answered. Edward Haskell, as always, thank you for wanting to help. I'm thinking Wednesdays. I'm going to try to lock in a time so that I definitely do it. Let's count on Wednesdays, and then I'm going to try to do Fridays. So let's say next week on Monday, I'm going to announce my Wednesday time, and we'll definitely have that. I promise you. Apologies. All right, let's see. I think my internet's kind of freezing up, so apologies if that's causing any problems. Paul Denuzio asks, what's the chance I ever get my favorite Hercules in the MCU? I think Hercules is tricky because of legal stuff. I think Hercules is a character that will be hard to translate because they've got Thor, and that's one kind of god. I don't know if there's going to be other. Apparently we're stalled. I don't know if I should stop talking or not. Maybe. I don't know if that'll help or hurt. Either way, we're filming, so hopefully this registers later. I think there's a lot of actors that make really good Hercules. I just don't know if the character would translate into the MCU they've built so far, but I would love to see Hercules myself. And that character is a lot of fun. And you'll notice Hercules has been in a lot of the big event books like War of the Realms, so I think they're probably seeing what the interest is in the character. So there's a chance, Paul Denuzio. I think there's a chance. Let's see. Favorite spot to eat in LA, Yellow Flash. I love Father's Office as well. Those are fantastic burgers. Mine is salsa and beer in the Valley. Salsa and beer is my favorite Mexican food in the world, and I'm a giant burrito man, and I love me some chimichangas. All right, I'm going to do one more. Man, I am stuck in an interesting pose. Oh, no. Apologies for whatever internet foibles is happening. I'm sorry. I'm gonna wrap this up since it's not working. Oh, Amy is on Twitch. That's right. Amy's on Twitch, so check her out over there on Twitch. It seems that this is freezing, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys so much. Once again, I'm gonna try to get a schedule up by next Wednesday, so I'll know what time this is gonna go. And I really enjoy doing this with you guys. I'm gonna clip out my Birds of Prey interview, so you don't have to watch this whole thing. Thank you for joining me, all 100 of you that stayed most the whole time. And as always, thank you, comic books, for existing. Y'all are amazing. I'll talk to you soon.